Trump aide Steve Bannon in contempt of Congress.
The full House will vote on Thursday on whether or not to hold Bannon in criminal contempt, and after that, it's in the Justice Department's hands to decide whether or not to prosecute a case that could take months to litigate.
That's ABC's Alex Perchet in Washington. President Biden now eyeing a much smaller government overhaul plan. The former one, $3.5 trillion. This one, just under $2 trillion. The FDA is expected today to hand over Moderna and J&J booster information to the CDC. A ruling on those shots expected by the end of the week. Also under consideration, the safety of mixing and matching vaccines. Those 17 people kidnapped in Haiti still being held on $17 million ransom. ABC's Marcus Moore in Port-au-Prince says kidnappings are not uncommon there.
Generally, they are business owners or perhaps foreigners who are here, who are by themselves and who become easy targets for one reason or another. But as of late, the number of kidnappings have surged and have spiked. I mean, we're talking about hundreds, more than 600 kidnappings just this year. The fact that so many people were kidnapped together at the same time, that's different. That's new.
More fallout from comedian Dave Chappelle's latest Netflix special. Employees outraged at what they say is Chappelle's transphobic message. Netflix employees say they will walk off the job.
Some of the walkout, some of the activism will be virtual because, we're still in lockdown, we're still in a pandemic. But trans people and their allies will walk off the job. We don't know how many, but they will also present Netflix with a list of demands.
Vanity Fair contributing editor Maureen Ryan. 95-year-old Queen Elizabeth has been told to take it easy. Buckingham Palace says she will take their advice and rest for a few days. You're listening to ABC News.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk. It's Jill Schlesinger. Did you know Pure Talk gives you the same great coverage on the same great 5G network as one of the big guys for about half the cost? The average family is saving over $800 a year. You can keep your number and keep your phone or get huge discounts on the latest iPhones and Androids. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. Or if you want unlimited data, you can still save a fortune. With U.S.-based customer service, Pure Talk treats their customers right. Plus, they have a 30-day risk-free guarantee, so you literally have nothing to lose. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless.
Investigators in Houston trying to figure out why a small plane sped past the end of the runway without taking off. ABC's Jim Ryan with more.
The cause of the accident northwest of Houston is a mystery, but how everyone survived relatively unscathed is easier to explain.
It was extraordinarily fortunate that the end of this runway was essentially a farmer's field.
ABC News contributor Steve Ganyard says that because the plane didn't hit any obstacles as it skidded 500 feet into a field,
it gave enough time for everyone to get off the airplane before fire engulfed the fuselage.
The plane was filled with Houston Astros fans headed to last night's MLB playoff game in Boston. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Cause of death of an 18-year-old freshman at the University of Kentucky right now, listed as presumed alcohol toxicity. 18-year-old Lofton Hazelwood found unconscious at a frat house Monday night. Austin Rice is a student at the school.
Something bad's always happening with fraternities, be it at the parties or other stuff, so I didn't really didn't seem out of the ordinary.
There's a full investigation underway. A medical first. Surgeons in New York have successfully implanted a kidney that was grown in a pig into a person. The pig was genetically engineered to allow it to grow an organ that would not be rejected by a human body. Researchers say, though, there's a lot of work to be done to learn about the long-term consequences. More than 100,000 Americans are on transplant waiting lists right now. This is ABC News.
Ad paid for by CompleteCar.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Call 800-549-1985 now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection.
To a high-pressure system over us, we are going to warm up today into the mid-70s and lower 80s. Overnight temperatures will cool into the upper 40s and lower 50s, with highs in the upper 70s and lower 80s for tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit warmer out there, but we are tracking a cold front to move through. It's going to bring us showers by Friday, and our temperatures will fall back into the 70s for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Well, Peter and I are disagreeing on a little bit there. She says Friday showers. I'm looking at possibly Thursday night showers, but it's all going away for Friday and Saturday. Another beautiful weekend coming up. Right now, we're seeing 45 degrees, according to Peter the Meter Reader. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday morning edition of the Call Around News Report. We'll get to the phones here in just a few moments. Right now, I have these death announcements. David Norris, Sr., 75, of Forest City, passed away Monday, October the 18th. Graveside services will be held 3 p.m. Friday, October the 22nd at Word of Faith Fellowship Cemetery, Godfrey Road, Forest City, with Reverends Sam and Jane Whaley officiating. Online condolences are available at crowmortuary.com for David Spencer Norris, Sr. Barbara Jane Searcy Nanny, age 81, formerly of Union Mills, died Tuesday, October the 19th at Brookdale Assisted Living Center. A graveside service will be held 11 a.m. Saturday, October 23rd at Round Hill Baptist Church Cemetery. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Mrs. Nanny. Mask and social distancing are required for those attending. Crow's Mortuary assisting the family of Barbara Jane Searcy Nanny. Reverend Terry Paget, 63, of Ellenboro, died Tuesday, October the 19th at Adrium Health of Shelby. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services for Reverend Terry Paget. Eddie Harden, age 66, of Ellenboro, passed away Sunday, October 17th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. A funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at the Harmon Street Baptist Church. Burial will follow at Oak Grove United Methodist Church Cemetery. There will be no visitation because of COVID precautions. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Eddie Harden of Ellenboro. Family requests that if you attend the funeral to please wear a mask and practice social distancing. Benny Clarence Tony, age 75, of the Sunshine Community, died Friday, October the 15th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. The funeral service will be held 2 o'clock today at Golden Valley Missionary Methodist Church. Burial will follow in the Mount Harmony Baptist Church Cemetery. The family will receive friends from 5 until 7 at Paget and King Mortuary. That was the last evening. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory in charge of the arrangements. An online guest registry available for Benny Clarence Tony. Elizabeth Beth Hawkins Biggerstaff, 99, passed away Friday, October the 15th at her home in Surfside Beach, South Carolina. Celebration of her life and receiving of friends will be held 4 o'clock today in the A.C. McKinney Memorial Chapel at Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside in charge of the local arrangements for Elizabeth Beth Hawkins Biggerstaff. Louise Williams Elliott, 92, of Rutherfordton, formerly of Polk County, died Sunday, October the 17th. Those arrangements incomplete at this time for Louise Williams Elliott. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information of these and others as they become available to us, be sure to tune in this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the most information for the Foothills, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB Rutherfordton. Stand by. The Bill O'Reilly Morning Update is coming up next.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Wednesday, I am thinking about the Buttigieg misjudge. Is the Secretary of Transportation responsible for all the supply side problems? As the Secretary, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, is supposed to keep the economic train running. But Pete Buttigieg did not do that. In fact, he's been on paternity leave for weeks with no one in charge of his department. He did not appoint an acting secretary. Now, a TV guy made fun of Buttigieg because he's gay for taking paternity leave, but why bother with that nonsense? He's entitled to do it. However, he is not entitled to look away from the production problems in the USA, because by doing so, we all are getting hurt. This is just another example of the Biden administration hiring a person on a politically correct basis. All across the board, many Biden people were hired because of their social status or skin color. So now we are seeing inefficiency at a record level in the Biden administration. Now this. Car repairs often feel like a lose-lose situation. The expensive payments and paperwork feel never ending. But ever since I called Car Shield, that all gets handled for me. That's a win-win. I just select my favorite mechanic, and Car Shield's administrators do the rest. So get coverage today, and you'll see why Car Shield cars go farther. Please visit carshield.com/bill to save 10%. A deductible may apply. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning.
WCAB, the golden music's on us.
The date is October 11, 1880. The location is the Oriental Saloon in Tombstone, Arizona. As usual, Doc Holliday is gambling and deep in the bottle. After Holliday and John Tyler exchange harsh words over the turn of the cards, Holliday asks for his pistol, which was stored behind the bar. Saloon owner Milt Joyce refused to hand over the pistol, and instead threw Holliday out of the Oriental. As everyone returned to their gambling, Doc Holliday came in with pistol in hand. Walking right up to the saloon owner, Joyce, Holliday fired his pistol and hit Joyce in the hand. Holliday then hit William Parker, Joyce's partner, in the foot. Finally, Milt Joyce grabbed his pistol and used it to club Holliday on the head, sending him immediately to the floor. After the fight was over, Holliday's face looked so bad that it was thought he wouldn't recover, but he did. He was tried for attempted murder. Because no one appeared as a witness against him, the charges were reduced to assault and he was fined $20. Even though Doc Holliday displayed less than stellar marksmanship in this event, his reputation grew as a pistolero. Supposedly, Holliday killed dozens of people during his lifetime. In reality, he killed one, maybe two men. Many historians today agree that the stories of Holliday's skill with a pistol were just that, stories. Stories spread by Holliday to extract fear in his adversaries. Incidentally, about a month later, Holliday entered a shooting contest that took place in Tombstone. Holliday ended up in last place. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James has added 2 new sandwiches to his already delightful menu, along with the fresh-cooked burgers, sandwiches, fresh salads, hot dogs made to order. Now try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Both come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford, or call 828-447-4644. And Mondays only, hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions, only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Now it's time to go to the phones to find out what's been happening in the past few hours, 24 hours or so, around our beautiful county. Let's go first to the Sheriff's Department, and Deputy Brandel is on the phone with me right now to give us that update. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Wait for that sun to rise. Have another beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yes, sir. I think I've seen where it's supposed to maybe get up to 70-something today.
I think so, yeah. I like it.
Well, good, good.
Tell us what's on the list over there today.
Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 179 calls, processed 11 arrests at the county jail, and currently have 172 incarcerated. Under our incident reports, we only have one to report, incident of arson reported by Russell Morrow, located at 268 Womack Lake Road in Far City. We have a report of a assault on female in Rutherford. Arrested in that incident was a Brandon Williams, 31-year-old black male from Rutherford, charged with assault on female, given no bond on that. The only other arrest report we have is a William Dale Evans, 46-year-old white male of Rutherford. He was incarcerated here at the jail and was charged with malicious conduct by prisoner. He was given a $10,000 secured bond, and that's all we have to report this morning.
All right, Deputy Randall, sounds like it's been kind of relatively quiet. We hope it stays that way for a while.
Absolutely.
You have a great day and be safe out there.
Yes, sir, you too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. And we're going over to 911 Communications Center and find out about their phone calls they've had in the past 24 hours. And on the phone with right now is Kylie with that report today. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Great, thank you. Tell us what kind of phone calls you've gotten.
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 427 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 50 for EMS, 179 for the Sheriff's Office, 98 for Far City, 11 for Lake Lure, 46 for Rutherford, 63 for Spindale. Bostik responded to a structure fire with Ellenborough, Far City, and Hudlow assisting. Ellenborough responded to a residential fire alarm as well as a vehicle fire. Far City responded to a residential fire alarm as well as a fire investigation. Sandy Mush responded to a motor vehicle accident as well as a gas leak. SDA responded to a motor vehicle accident as well as smoke and non-structure, and that's all we had.
Thanks so much for that report. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
SDO Fire District over in Danieltown is our next stop, and Ruby Taylor is on the phone to give us that update. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report?
The fire department had one call, and it was to a vehicle accident. And on my birthday calendar, I got Mickey Mosley, Cole Baldwin, and Lisa Green having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. Sandra in the neck today and tomorrow, and Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks so much, Ruby. Have a good Wednesday.
You too.
Bye. Well, the Sheriff's Department is still reporting a missing runaway juvenile, Abigail Lynn Cantrell. Abigail is a 15-year-old white female with blue eyes and red auburn hair in a dreadlock style. She's approximately 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs about 160 pounds. Abigail was last seen on Sunday, October the 17th at approximately 8 p.m. She was at the Department of Social Services located at 389 Fairground Road in Spindale before she ran away from DSS custody. Abigail was wearing white Crocs, dark pants, and possibly a blue or white shirt at the time she ran away. She ran off on foot in an unknown direction of travel. If you have information regarding the whereabouts of Abigail, please contact the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, 828-286-2911. Now, Gary Wilson is reporting next from the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Tim. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I hear you're hiring yourself out to rake leaves for people now. Is that true?
Boy, I could stay busy, couldn't I? Okay, so we'll try to get back in touch with Gary in just a few moments.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
All right, let's get back to Gary. I believe we had a cutoff up there. Gary, how you doing?
Well, Jim, I just called. I asked you to rake leaves. That mean you have to hang up on me now.
Well, I tell you, I think I can make a lot of money and stay busy doing that, don't you think?
I believe so. I don't know what happened to the phone there. It just went dead all of a sudden.
Yeah, it did.
We're quiet up here this morning, sitting on about 45 degrees, clear skies. It's going to be another pretty day. It's just been some bluebird weather this week. Going to continue on for a few days, looks like. And fire calls have been quiet. That's never an act for Bill's Creek or us, so we're all good to go up here this morning, I believe.
Can't beat this weather or the slowdown of things. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of people in on the weekends now. We're getting a good bit of tourists coming in, so that's good. Glad to see the economy picking back up some now.
Good. Well, I'm glad to get that good report, Gary. You keep things under control for us up there, and we'll talk to you again soon. And if I need some help making leaves, I'll give you a call.
All right, we'll do it.
All right, see you. Bye. Gary Wilson, always fun to talk with. He's up in the Fairfield Mountains Fire District and overlooking Bills Creek Fire District as well.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Coopers Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Time now to get the Bostik Fire District report, and Laverne Upton is on the phone to catch us up to date. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Jim?
Doing great. Enjoying this beautiful weather.
Good. We have a cool morning over here in Bostik this morning. It's 47 degrees. The fire department responded to a structure fire, and as we talked, they've had a call to go out to an illegal burning. And don't forget to go by and check the bee supply store. She has nice shirts and candles and all kinds of items, of course, honey. And we'd like to wish Terry Griffin a wonderful day today.
All right, Vern, thank you very much. You have a great day over there.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Now we're stopping over at the Hudlow Fire District and talk with Bob Hodge. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good hump day morning.
It is indeed a beautiful day, isn't it?
That's right. We're getting these cool mornings and beautiful daytime temperatures just right out there. So
we got today and one more hump day this month, and it'll be November already.
It'll be November here before we know it, won't it? So be Turkey Day.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But, well, maybe things won't get up too high where we can afford to get one there.
Well, I know it. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Everything keeps rising, ain't it, there? So, well, maybe there'll be a stopping point sometime or another there.
Well, I sure hope so.
Well, Jim, things going along good up here this morning so far. The fire department had one call to assist Bostik on the fire call. And I want to say happy birthday to Brenda Weatherman this morning. And, Jim, that's about it. Things are going along good up here, and maybe we'll all have a quiet day.
I hope so, Bob. You and I, Regina, have a good one, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bob Hodge, love to talk with Bobby this morning. Hey, you can help spread the word and make your plans to come enjoy Split Shot in concert Saturday night at the Wagon Wheel. On stage or off, Split Shot are the kinds of guys you generally want to call friends. With the charm only true Southerners can possess, Split Shot brings their talent to the stage with a quick-witted, knee-slapping sense of humor coupled with a clear love for the music. Split Shot has grown to be one of the more popular variety bands in their hometown of Greenville, South Carolina. Great vocal harmonies, tight musicianship, and folks are loving their show, and you will too. Saturday night at the Wagon Wheel. Showtime is 7 o'clock, and there is a $10 cover at the door. Saturday night at the Wagon Wheel. Get your friends together and have a good night. 239 W.E. Paget Road, Bostik. Sue Price is up next with the Cherry Mountain Fire District report. Howdy, Sue.
Good morning, Jim. It's a beautiful morning over here. Liking these pretty days. A little bit cool, but that's all right. Fall, and we expect the cool weather. Leaves are falling everywhere, though. Everybody's going to have a job.
I tell you right now, they're not going to be many leaves left.
No, it seems like they're falling pretty fast. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. I have one anniversary on my personal calendar for Michael and Lisa Stott, and a birthday for Karen Kaiser. So I hope she'll have a good day today. And on Fairview, they've got an anniversary for William and Linda Michaels. So I hope they will have a good day. And First Broad has a birthday for Christine Smith. So happy birthday to Christine. And we hope everybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And I don't have any announcements. I didn't find out the date for the blood drive, but I'll try to get that, and it's coming up right away. So if anybody's interested in that, they could call and find out from Ron Corley. I'm sure he could tell them. And so far, that is the only thing I know about Jim. So it's quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks, Sue. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Now let's check up at the Shingle Hollow Fire District. Talk with Tina, see what Tina's doing this morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty good this morning.
Good. Getting around pretty good now?
Well, I still have to wear the boots, and I've used the walker or the walking stick, but I've adjusted. I'm ready to get this thing off, though, because it gets aggravating.
Well, I can imagine it does. But you remember that old song, "This Boot Was Made for Walking"?
Yes, I saw a little video with that not too long ago. It was when they wore their skirts real high and their boots tall.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, we've had some excitement this morning. We've had an unexpected and unwanted guest in our kitchen.
Uh-oh.
I told Nevaeh, I said, don't tell anybody. So she's listening. She's on her way to school with her mama. And we had a mouse. We still have a mouse. I hadn't seen it. But
I hate those little creatures.
Oh, no, I don't like them either. So my husband will have a job to take care of that for me. He'll put the mouse traps out. But it's that time of year.
Yep, they're coming in out of the cool.
Wanting to get warm. And it is cool this morning, 45 degrees. And Shingle Hollow Fire Department was all quiet. And Green Hill Fire Department was all quiet. And birthdays, there are none on any of the church calendars, but on my personal calendar, I have Miss Heather McIntyre. She's a teacher over at Pinnacle. Hope she has a wonderful birthday. And Miss Justine Jones, she's a nurse that I worked with over at White Oak. And then Amy Earls. So I hope all these have a great big birthday. Announcements, we have a buffet breakfast this Saturday at White House Community Clubhouse from 7 to 10 a.m. It is all-you-can-eat country buffet breakfast. Biscuits, gravy, eggs, grits, sausage, liver mush, pancakes, home fries, applesauce, jams and jellies. $6 for adults, $3 for children 6 to 12, and 5 and under is free. Again, that's this Saturday at White House Community Clubhouse from 7 to 10 a.m. So come out and get your breakfast, and it's delicious. And then next Saturday, on the 5th Saturday morning, there will be a youth meeting at Pilgrim's Way Baptist Church, Saturday, October 30th at 10 a.m. Brother Todd McKeon and Brother Jacob McKeon will be bringing the message. There'll be a combined youth choir and a meal afterwards. Everyone's welcome to that. So we've got some busy stuff going on the rest of this month. We're over halfway through the month, aren't we?
We are.
So that's all I've got this morning.
Okay. Well, keep up the good work up there and keep improving and enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll be watching out for my unexpected guest.
Well, I hope you find maybe more than one, you know.
Oh, they say where there's one, there's more, so I may just be calling GoForce and saying, come on out and put some traps out everywhere. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. 7:35 on this terrific Wednesday morning. And Dodgers and the Braves will be playing again this evening. It's an 8:08 first pitch tonight. 6:50 airtime. The Braves lost to the Dodgers last night, so they'll try to come back and make a win out of it this evening. So join us for that game this evening, if you will. And Friday night, football Friday night, our high school game scheduled right now is Highland at Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. It's a 7 o'clock countdown to high school football Friday night.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. Union Bills, our next stop. Brenda Kelly, good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
Great. I thought I was going to have to pull the plug on you and Todd out there a while ago.
Well, actually, we got cut off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I heard something go. It made me think of when the test pattern used to come on TV years ago, and it went boom, boom, boom. Then that was it. So that's what happened.
There must be some problems along the line. When I got here this morning, the internet was down. It didn't come up until sometime later, and then the phone cut out a while ago. So there's a problem somewhere over the fruited plain.
Technology's something else, ain't it? You just, I don't know if I really like it.
Well, I'm not sure I do either. I don't understand it. I don't understand it for one thing. If I understood, maybe I could appreciate it better, but I don't understand it.
It just cuts off and out, and it's nothing.
There you
$5.
go. All right.
Do what?
All right, you're back on now. You cut off. You've been silent now for the past 60 seconds. So start all over.
What's going on?
I don't know, but you just stopped, and we had nothing there for a period of time. So we'll have to start all over again. Good morning, Brother Kelly.
Good morning, Jim. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
I'm so excited we get to have all these technical things. It just.
Oh my goodness! You still there, though, right?
Yeah, I'm here, and I've got you now.
Okay. I've got 40 degrees on the front porch, and it's a full moon. Maybe that's what the problem is.
Hey, there you are. There you are.
And in ways of announcements, we got a Fall Fest at the Mills October the 30th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and this is at the Old Union Mills School. They'll have 60-plus vendors, food trucks, family fun. Come and support small businesses. And then on November the 5th, Winging It will be at the Union Mills Learning Center. The music starts at 7 p.m. They have a meal available beginning at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. I don't have any birthdays or any anniversaries, and I don't know of anything going on except these technical difficulties.
All over the place.
All over the place. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on. It makes me think lots of times when something like that happens, with technology like it is, anybody could get in on your phone conversation. Sure. We don't know who's listening and who ain't.
Absolutely.
And I don't like that. Because lots of times things that I say is private just between me and the person I'm talking to.
I'm amazed at how much it comes back at you, and they know so much about it. I got a call recently from my in Humana, and they were telling me that they recognized that I was down to a minimum on my blood pressure pill. I thought, well, how do you know that? and they went and said, well, we can connect you with your pharmacist and have that renewed if you like. And so it happened to be a Saturday afternoon, and they did, and of course they were closed. But I thought, well, how did they know from somewhere else on a recorded phone call that I was down to two doses of that medicine?
See, it's just something else. And it aggravates me that you get all these old robocalls. I got one yesterday. I never got this one. It said, am I speaking to Brenda Kelly? And I said, this is Brenda. And I always, because I never know when it might be an announcement to go on the radio. And so they went on to say, well, something about diabetes and blah, blah, blah. I said, I ain't never had diabetes. You're just talking up the wrong tree. And so, well, does anybody in your household have it? I said, no, and hung up. It's aggravating.
Yeah. And so many of those calls they give you like that are robocalls, and it makes it sound like it's a real human being because they have it programmed. Whatever your response is, they got an automatic comeback.
Oh yeah.
I got something this week at home. I believe it was home, and they were raising money for a cause. They said we thought maybe if we send you an envelope with a designated amount that you would help with this contribution. I said, let me tell you, I don't make any donations over the telephone. I said, if you want to send me something, I'll look at it. Well, that'll be great. Can we put you down for $50? I said, no, I just said I do not make donations over the telephone. I have to see what I'm looking at for. Well, I can certainly understand that. We have to put these things in. We'll put this out, and we'll put you down for $25. I said, no, you don't understand me. I'm not making a donation on the telephone. And I could tell it's a robot call because they didn't know how to respond to what I was saying. They were ready to respond to the next.
To the next thing, yeah.
So finally, I just hung up on them.
That's me. I get them all the time from fire department and from breast cancer thing. Well, I belong to a team for Relay for Life, and I support that, and I figure that's enough. I shouldn't have to give individuals this or that. And then we voted years ago up here to, I forget how much percentage of our county taxes goes toward, it's extra, to the fire department. So that's my donation.
Sure.
So,
well, there's a lot of auxiliary organizations raising money on behalf of a legitimate firm. It's not really legitimate. It sounds like it is. So it's always good to verify. I have verified with the sheriff many times on an organization they called. They said they were supporting the sheriff's office. And I said, where are you calling from? Williamston, North Carolina. I thought, well, how are you supporting my sheriff's department all the way from Williamston, North Carolina?
I know. It's just, there's a scam every, 5 seconds.
Seems like it. It's pays the alert, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Just, like you say, just hang it up and go on about your business. You'd think they'd soon get enough of calling you. And I don't think it's right that they can get access to your address and your phone number. That's private.
Well,
but
it's amazing.
It ain't private no more.
It's amazing what Google knows about you.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I ought to Google myself and see.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Well, you better go check on Luke the Sweet Thing and hope that you don't have no technical problems going down there.
I'll see you, Brenda.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197.
Hey folks, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Now we're going over to Ellenboro, North Carolina, US of A, and see what's happening over there. Luther, good morning.
Good morning. Not a whole lot going on this morning. Everything is quiet and peaceful. Just sitting back, drinking coffee, waiting on the sun to come up.
Well,
That's pretty quiet. Sir?
I hope it will.
It will. If the coffee doesn't run out. But it's quiet this morning. Had a quiet day yesterday. First morning I had 2 calls. Had one missed call yesterday morning and yesterday afternoon. Excuse me. They got a call to assist Bostik on a structure fire, but it didn't pan out to anything. So they just come on back. Everything stayed quiet. So that's what's going on down here, Jim. You have a great day up there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Keep it straight, and I'll see you then.
All right, take care now.
Bye. It's time for birthdays and anniversaries for this 20th day of the month. October the 20th, birthdays and anniversaries can be called in to us now at 287-3356. 287-3356. We'll celebrate your birthday and your anniversary coming up. You know, you can help spread the word about Saturday night's big concert, Saturday night at the Wagon Wheel. On stage or off, Split Shot. They're the kind of guys you generally want to call friends, with the charm only true Southerners can possess. Split Shot brings their talent to the stage with a quick-witted, knee-slapping sense of humor coupled with clear love for the music. Split Shot has grown to be one of the most popular variety bands in their hometown of Greenville, South Carolina. Great vocal harmonies, tight musicianship, and folks are loving their show, and you will too. That's Saturday night at the Wagon Wheel. Showtime is 7 o'clock, and there is a $10 cover at the door. That's Saturday night at the Wagon Wheel, 239 W.E. Paget Road in Bostik. So make your plans to attend. And the Chamber of Commerce reverse raffle tickets are now on sale, and they're selling pretty fast. So if you want to get yours in, you could be the recipient of a lot of money for Christmas shopping. $7,000. Yep, sound good, right? Come on, get your ticket. I've got them right here. Get them early, and get as many as you want. $50 per ticket. Drawings can be held live here on the radio in December, and so they'll be going here pretty fast. So if you've not yet bought your ticket and want one, please let me know, and I will save as many as you want for you and your company. So call now. Let me know how many you'd like to have. 287-3356. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Granny B is now serving breakfast. Yep. They got a great breakfast menu. Biscuits, ham, bacon, sausage, liver mush biscuits, eggs, sausage, gravy biscuits for $2.25. Hash browns, $1.85. Breakfast plate, anything, anyway, $4.49. Eat in or call it to go out. 286-9012. Granny B's open at 6:30 this morning, Tuesday through Saturday for your breakfast enjoyment. Be sure to remember those daylight donuts, too, at Granny B's.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Stacy Hawkins of Forest City. Works at the Vocational Rehab. I want to wish Stacy a happy birthday. Karen Kaiser, 53, lives over in Bostik. And Kathy Surratt, that's her twin. She's also 53, lives in Mooresville. Wish those two a happy birthday. Ansley McNeely is 15. Goes to Thomas Jefferson. I want to wish Ansley a big old happy. And personal privilege, I want to wish my son-in-law Julian Marino a happy birthday today. And also, it's their anniversary, Karen and Julian's anniversary today, celebrating a double barrel, his birthday and their anniversary. So we hope it's going to be a good one for all of them. Birthdays also include Bella Lugosi, 1882, died in 1956. You remember Bella Lugosi, don't you? Will Rogers Jr., born on this date. died in 1993. 1913, Grandpa Jones was born, died in 1998. 1931, Mickey Mantle, great baseball slugger, was born. He died in 1995. Tom Petty, born 1950, died 2017. 1958, Viggo Mortensen. Is that his name? Viggo Mortensen. Lord of the Rings. 1964, this lady was born. Kamala Harris. You recognize that name? 1971, Snoop Dogg has a birthday today. Other big events on this day: 1803, U.S. Senate ratified Louisiana Purchase. 1918, end of World War I. 1955, Harry Belafonte recorded Day-O, Day-O. 1957, Walter Cronkite began hosting the weekly show. And that's the way it was. 1967, Robert Patterson filmed a Bigfoot at Bluff Creek. 1973, Sydney Opera House in Australia opened. 1977, Leonard Skinner plane crashed. Sad day for that day. Thanks for all that information. And I'll be back with the keys to competent living, and we'll take you down memory lane and have some stuff at top of the hour to talk about right here on the Morning Wake Up Call.
Alexander the Great is best known for his bold conquests of the world of his day. Most have heard of his famous line, "There are no more worlds to conquer." He was a young, energetic, bold, and impulsive young man. As great as Alexander became, he did have a weakness, his anger. Several times in his life, this weakness tragically betrayed him. On one occasion, a childhood friend and general in his army became intoxicated and ridiculed the emperor in front of his men. Blinded by anger, Alexander snatched a spear and hurled it at Cletus. Although he had intended only to scare the drunken general, the spear took his friend's life. Unchecked anger has scarred the lives of many good people. These people live noble and upright lives until things don't go just right, and then all fury is let loose. The fit of anger doesn't usually last long, but the damage can be incredible. InfoSearch tells the story about a young man who had been badly insulted by a former acquaintance. He wanted to go and settle the score. A saintly old gentleman was aware of the young man's intentions and suggested, "Son, let me give you a word of advice. An insult is like mud. It will brush off much better when it is dry." Giving time for emotions to cool will go a long way in keeping our anger under control. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
News. I'm Sherry Preston. A deadline coming up for thousands of New York City employees. Get vaccinated or don't get paid. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
All New York City municipal employees must have at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine by October 29th. The exception, correction officers who have a later date of December 1st. Otherwise, these workers risk being placed on unpaid leave and their careers subject to negotiations with labor unions. The mayor made the decision after the success of the public school employee vaccine mandate. 96% of employees complied. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Some are protesting getting even one shot, others asking for as many as 3.
The FDA is expected to back Moderna and Johnson & Johnson boosters at a meeting today. That's when the agency could sign off on a booster mix-and-match approach, giving recipients the option to get the same brand of booster as their original vaccine or a different one. The CDC would still need to approve the mix-and-match approach.
It's ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi. The full House will vote tomorrow on whether to hold former Trump advisor Steve Bannon in contempt of Congress. The move coming after Bannon ignored a subpoena to appear before the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol insurrection. ABC's Jonathan Carl with more on Congresswoman Liz Cheney's warning to her party.
Cheney told Republicans Trump has been lying about the election, and they know it.
You all know that there is no evidence of widespread election fraud sufficient to have changed the results of the election. You know these claims are false. Yet former President Trump repeats them almost daily.
His lawyer told the committee he is refusing to comply at the request of former President Trump.
President Biden hitting the road today, traveling to Scranton, Pennsylvania to promote his infrastructure and social spending plans. The president meeting with lawmakers this week, eyeing a much smaller package of social programs that would still include free pre-K. This is ABC News.
Oil drilling investments involve a high degree of risk and are only suitable for SEC-accredited investors. Attention high net worth investors. Oil and gas investments have always been an ideal tax advantage and have been a way to invest and take a 100% write-off. The new administration is threatening to take this away. Take advantage now before it's too late. Invest in domestic oil drilling for a full tax credit this year. When you invest in oil, you get a 100% tax write-off. The pent-up demand from the pandemic has created the perfect storm for oil prices to soar. Support domestic U.S. oil and natural gas drilling and make your patriotic investment to get a complete 100% tax deduction write-off. If you are liquid for a $100,000 investment, call Encore Energy at 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691. 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691.
The NFL today is expected to propose changes to its billion-dollar concussion settlement after an ABC News investigation uncovered the practice known as race norming. It made it harder for African-American former football players to collect. The Senate today voting on a voting reform package. ABC's Andy Fields in Washington.
All 50 Senate Democrats saying they'll vote yes on the new Voting Rights Act, which should be enough with the vice president helping make it a simple majority. But Republicans insist it's a power grab that would take voting rights away from the states. They promised to prevent a vote with a filibuster. Democrats, trying to counter Republican states, they say are making it harder for minorities to vote.
Living in tents is now outlawed in Boston.
Declaring opioid addiction and homelessness a public health crisis, Boston Mayor Kim Janney is taking action.
Tents and temporary shelters will no longer be permitted in the city of Boston.
She says addiction and the coronavirus pandemic have driven an increase in homelessness and people living in tents.
The site of infectious diseases, sexual assaults, human trafficking, potential overdoses, and violence.
Janney's executive order not only outlaws the tents, but calls on city and state authorities to develop a centralized system to help those in need of shelter and addiction services. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
More people are watching Netflix. The streaming service says it added a better than expected 4.4 million subscribers just in the last quarter alone. Most popular show ever, Squid Game. This is ABC News.
There's a confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. But one thing is for sure. Whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an accurate thermometer. Contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever, the leading sign of COVID and the flu. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They have no scientific studies behind them and can miss the fever that might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It's going to be a warmer one heading into the afternoon. Highs will top in the mid-70s and lower 80s. Expect a lot of sunshine, but tomorrow we're going to see increasing clouds. Early temperatures will be in the upper 40s and lower 50s. By the afternoon, we'll warm into the upper 70s. A lot of areas in the lower 80s. We are going to see a cold front arrive by Friday and bring showers back into the region. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Today's expected high around 78. Looks like right now that's going to be the warmest we're going to be in the next few days, because on Tuesday of next week is 73 for a daytime high. Monday week 74 and 73 on Sunday. So today is going to be the warm spot. 78 degrees and light wind. Tonight mostly clear, dropping back to about where we are right now. We're at 47. Tonight's overnight low expected to be 40. We're at 45 right now, expected to be 47 tonight. The only possibility of some scattered showers may be coming in late tonight or early in the morning, but nothing major, only about a 30% chance of that developing. So glad to have you hanging around with us on this Wednesday morning, Hump Day. Wednesday morning, the 20th day of October. Getting on real fast, isn't it? My. We got a lot to pack in this next few minutes, so let's get rolling.
Who doesn't want to live their most spectacular life? The new Spectacular Riches Scratch-Off from the North Carolina Education Lottery has millions of dollars in prizes with riches everywhere. So you can make bling your thing, add glide to your ride, or even glitz to your grits. Spectacular Riches with over $100 million in prizes from $100 to $10,000. Riches are everywhere. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.26. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Some stories from here and there this morning. The Daily Courier is reporting that visitors to Rutherford County have continued to increase, and they are spreading and they're spending increasing amounts of money. Rutherford among counties boosted by tourists during COVID. According to the new data, Rutherford is one of only 14 counties in North Carolina that saw gains in visitors and visitor spending during 2020. Rutherford is one of 20 counties that had an increase in employment related to visitor spending. Spending in Rutherford County in the tourism sector increased by 4% to $204.3 million in 2020 from 2019. This data comes from an annual study commissioned by Visit North Carolina. Local officials from the Rutherford County Tourism Development Authority say they are excited about the continued growth. Rural North Carolina provides scenic beauty and safe travel, according to Don Kaysen, TDA Executive Director. We have been discovered by thousands of travelers that may have never discovered us before COVID. According to the Visit North Carolina report, the travel and tourism industry directly employs more than 1,400 people in Rutherford County. Total payroll generated by the tourism industry in Rutherford County was $52.8 million in 2020. The tax dollars generated by travel and tourism have been substantial. State tax revenues generated in Rutherford County totaled $9.6 million through state sales and excise taxes and taxes on personal and corporate income. About $8.5 million in local taxes were generated from sales and property tax revenue from travel-generated and travel-supported businesses. Besides Rutherford County, the other counties that have experienced tourism growth in 2020 was Polk County, Warren, Greene, Yancey, Clay, Stokes, Northampton, Pender, Ashe, Allegheny, Jones, Currituck, and Terrell. All those counties experienced some increase in travel as well. Statewide direct tourism payroll decreased by 24.5% to $6.4 billion. With new travel patterns in the future, we hope to land 30 to 40% higher than our pre-COVID numbers, according to Don Kaysen. And folks are traveling through here for whatever reason, and we have studied research and found out that when folks come to a local market like this, they tune to local radio to find out what's happening in the market, where the bargains are, where the sales are, where the events are taking place. That's why we encourage you as local businesses to keep your name out front with local radio, because they tune to radio to get to weather conditions, what's happening with entertainment, what's happening in businesses downtown. So it's good to keep above the fray of all the other types of marketing. So please keep us in mind when you do that. And while folks of business there, be extremely cordial to them. Let them think Rutherford County is the best county in the whole state, the most cordial county in the whole state. Let's see what we can do to impress the folks. Meanwhile, the Spindale Town Council learned that the initial phase of the downtown streetscape project is almost finished, and an official dedication ceremony complete with a plaque will take place in the next several weeks. Work on the project began in November 2020 and included several key components. Some of those changes and improvements are very visible and some are unseen, but all are important, said Town Manager Scott Weber. Davis Street, along with portions of Tanner Street and Ohio Street, were reconfigured one way. These changes increased safety and efficiency and added a large safe loading zone area behind the Main Street business on Davis Street. These changes also cleared up areas that were once more congested on Tanner Street near the post office and the Spindale House. New water sewer lines were installed through downtown areas, as well as new electrical lights. New street lights are not only more aesthetically appealing, but officials say they increase safety. New curbing, benches, and bike racks along Main Street were also part of the project. More improvements are planned over the next several years, officials say, and they will include enhancements along the Thermal Belt Rail Trail, which runs through downtown Spindale. Weber also announced to the board that a team from PBS North Carolina, formerly UNC TV, was in Spindale Sunday filming a segment for the television show NC Weekend. Jerry Stensland, Rutherford Outdoor Coalition board chair, was interviewed about the history and importance of the Thermal Belt Rail Trail. So they're excited about Spindale getting a new face forward, and we're happy about that for them. Meanwhile, the Rutherford County Schools Omega Bytes robotics team brought home the championship trophy from the first Robotics North Carolina statewide Thor competition held October the 9th in Charlotte. The Omega Bytes team had 27 Rutherford County school members at the event, which was second largest team at the competition. The 12 other competition teams included some of the North Carolina's strongest and held mostly from Charlotte, the Research Triangle, and Greensboro. The only other rural team competing was from Burke County. Danny Smith, some are running unopposed, some are running with competition, so figure out who you want to support and go to the polls and vote for them. Encourage them a little bit. 13 minutes after 8 o'clock here on WCAB. I'll be back in just a moment with more stuff.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith's Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith's Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recall devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591.
The Rutherford County Sheriff's Department issuing still that missing persons juvenile Abigail Lynn Cantrell. Abigail is a 15-year-old white female with blue eyes and red auburn hair in a dreadlock style. She's approximately 5'8" and 160 pounds. Abigail was last seen on Sunday, October the 17th at approximately 8 o'clock p.m. She was at the Department of Social Services located at 389 Fairground Road in Spindale before she ran from DSS custody. Abigail was wearing Crocs, white Crocs, dark pants, and possibly a blue or white shirt at the time she ran away. She ran off on foot in an unknown direction of travel. If you have information regarding the whereabouts of Abigail, please contact the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office at 286-2911. Again, 15-year-old white female, blue eyes, red auburn hair in a dreadlock style, approximately 5'8", and weighs about 160 pounds. If you know anything about her or see somebody who fits that description, please contact the officials. Braves baseball again this evening. It's a later game than last night. Tonight's 6:50 airtime, 8:08 first pitch. Braves and the Dodgers. Braves lost to the Dodgers last night. Perhaps they can come back and be victorious tonight. And coming up on Friday night, we have another high school football Friday night. Highlands at Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. That's a 7 o'clock countdown. We'll have that game and see what takes place from there. We got all kinds of sports going on. High school football Friday night. Braves baseball still playing, and Tar Heels football. And before you know it, it'll be Tar Heel basketball time here on the radio. Well, we talked about this on many occasions because I think the more we talk about it, the more, hopefully, more insightful it becomes to many of you and to many of your friends, their friends' friends, to recognize that it's such a crucial thing that we keep it above the minds of people. There's a Presbyterian pastor. She said any reason is a good reason to kill a baby in abortion. Any reason is a good reason to kill a baby in an abortion. The last time we encountered progressive theologian, the Reverend Rebecca Todd Peters, she was offering a defense of why it was perfectly acceptable for North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper to veto a dangerous bill. What bill was she bravely opposing? HB 453, Human Life Non-Discrimination Act, No Eugenics, which would prohibit an abortionist from performing abortions if he knows a woman is seeking the abortion because of race, sex, or prenatal diagnosis of Down syndrome. Oh, that dangerous bill. The Reverend Peters is one of those all too familiar progressive ministers, in this case the Presbyterian minister, who has persuaded herself that justice requires abortion, which requires overturning the patriarchy, which includes recalibrating a religious tradition that remains dominated by male God language and imagery. She even wrote a book. How about this for an original title? Trust Women, a Progressive Argument for Reproductive Justice. In other words, the Reverend Peters is a cliche. To Peters, a professor of religion studies at Elon University, North Carolina, none of this about what you would think a progressive would find right up her alley matters. Preventing an abortionist from taking the life of an unborn baby because the abortionist had been told the baby, most likely a girl, is the wrong sex or the wrong color skin or has been prenatally diagnosed with Down syndrome. No, it's all about, altogether now, exploiting the emotional legacy of eugenics in an attempt to stigmatize women who have abortions and bully opponents into falling in line with the bill. Well, worse than that yet, from her perspective, the HB 453 fails to respect the moral agency of women as capable decision makers. Well, obviously they failed to make a decision back 8 or 9 months ago. They failed to make the right decision there because there's always a real possibility that if you're still in that stage of life where you could get pregnant, you might get pregnant. If you're having sex, you might just get pregnant. Knowing that, and you don't do anything to protect it yourself that early, then you've not made a decision like you should make. Let's wait and see if we got a baby, and then we'll kill the baby. That's the decision they think is okay. Now, in light of many cases working their way toward the Supreme Court, USA Today called out the Reverend Peters to dust off her tired, repetitive arguments. Only, quote, I'm a Christian minister who's had 2 abortions. Here's how faith informed those decisions, end quote, fails to deliver on the promise of the article's headline. Why she did, she and her husband, about 2 of their 4 children, guided by Christian principles that promote abundant life, seek justice, and recognize the human dignity of women. The decision to end a pregnancy can be a morally good decision, she said. Okay, why did she and her husband abort 2 of their 4 children? I did not make any abortion decisions despite my Christian identity and faith, but rather because of it. Christian values that support healthy and secure families also require careful, thoughtful, and morally rich consideration about the decision to become a parent or not. The fact that the social, physical, and moral well-being of children is primarily the responsibility of parents meant that my husband and I thought carefully and deeply about our decision to have and have not children. Okay, so why did she and her husband abort 2 of their 4 children? Hold on, we're getting there. So she continues. Recognizing and affirming that parenting is a sacred responsibility means that we need to recognize the moral wisdom my mama shared with me. Quote, you shouldn't have a baby just because you're pregnant. You should have a baby because you want to be a mother. You want to have a family, end quote. This is the message that people of faith need to shout from the rooftop. That because parenting is a sacred task, pregnant people must be supported in using their moral agency to know when and whether they are able to embrace that sacred trust of parenting. Ending a pregnancy when one cannot afford to care for a child or another child can be morally responsible decision. Imagine what if all of the poor babies grew up in poverty, poor background, poor economic background, had they been aborted? We would not have had an Abraham Lincoln. We would not have had a Corrie ten Boom. We would not have had a Billy Graham. We would not have had a lot of these folks. We would not have had a Martin Luther King Jr. because they grew up in situations that were not the best to raise families, but their mothers decided to let them live. They grew to be something beneficial to the growth of our country. It's not our decision, folks. Our decision is back 9 months earlier. Either we're going to do it safely or we're not going to do it. I'll be back in just a moment.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates, wanting to let you know that we have moved. Our new office is located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City. Come see us for auto, home, or your commercial insurance needs. Also come see me, Dwayne Hunt, for your Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or prescription drug plans. See us at Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City, or call 828-245-5301.
The music's on us on WCAB.
We're more than just great music. We're information centered, inspiration and information and a whole lot of details that we hope makes your life and your day enricher. Thank you for tuning in with us each morning. Thank you for staying part of WCAB's audience. Braves baseball this evening. We'll find out how the Braves and the Dodgers are going to end this series up. Stay with us tonight throughout that game tonight. Right now it's time for the Sheriff's Report replay. Deputy Brundle was on with us earlier. We recorded him.
Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 179 calls, processed 11 arrests at the county jail, and currently have 172 incarcerated. Under our incident reports, we only have one to report, incident of arson reported by Russell Morrow, located at 268 Womack Lake Road in Far City. We have a report of a assault on female in Rutherford. Arrested in that incident was a Brandon Williams, 31-year-old black male from Rutherford, charged with assault on female, given no bond on that. The only other arrest report we have is a William Dale Evans, 46-year-old white male of Rutherford. He was incarcerated here at the jail and was charged with malicious conduct by prisoner. He was given a $10,000 secure bond, and that's all we have to report this morning.
for 7 runs in the 9th. Red Sox manager Alex Cora says it was a tough ending to what was a good game.
They have a good team. I think it was a good game until the end, right? We were one pitch away from ending that inning, and it didn't happen, and then they scored 7.
Game 5 is at 5 this afternoon in Boston. The Dodgers, meanwhile, were 5 outs from falling into a 3-0 hole in the NLCS until Cody Bellinger slammed a 3-run homer and Mookie Betts added the go-ahead double in a 4-run 8th that sent L.A. past Atlanta 6-5 and narrowed the series to 2-1. Atlanta's still up. Game 4 is at 8 tonight in Los Angeles. The future of the New York manager, Aaron Boone, has been resolved after he accepted a 3-year contract extension that includes an option for 2025. The NBA began the regular season last night with 2 games. Giannis Antetokounmpo poured in 32 points and grabbed 14 boards to go with his 7 assists as the Bucks hammered Brooklyn 127-104. In L.A., Steph Curry had a triple-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 helpers as the Warriors topped the Lakers 121-114. 76ers guard Ben Simmons will miss the Philadelphia season opener tonight. That after Doc Rivers threw him out of practice yesterday for conduct detrimental to the team. Simmons has refused to play as a full participant in workouts. That a day after he lingered outside the team huddle and mostly stayed alone in the corner without talking to teammates. 76ers captain Joel Embiid says he's tired of babysitting Simmons, unless he wants to listen.
At this point, I don't care about that man, honestly. He does whatever he wants. I'm only focused on trying to make the team better.
Simmons slapped with a 1-game suspension. He will miss tonight's opener at New Orleans. This is NCN Sports.
I got the vaccine to protect myself.
Because COVID-19 is still spreading.
All the patients I take care of with COVID-19 have one thing in common.
They have not gotten their vaccine.
The vaccines were proven safe and effective in clinical trials with thousands of people.
That's why I tell my friends and family to get theirs.
I'll take feeling achy for a day or two over going to the hospital or dying any day.
Don't wait.
Go to myspot.nc.gov
to get your free COVID vaccine.
Sponsored by NCDHHS.
Hey, I'm Katie Webster with North Carolina Emergency Management. Severe weather can happen throughout the year in North Carolina. You can protect yourselves and your loved ones by being prepared. Have a family emergency plan. Assemble an emergency kit with a 3-day supply of non-perishable food and water. Download an emergency alert app, have a weather alert radio, and listen to local weather reports. Go to readync.org for more severe weather safety tips. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety.
The NFL is set to propose changes to the $1 billion concussion settlement after an outcry over test score adjustments known as race norming. The adjustments make it harder for retired black players to win dementia awards that average $500,000 or more. The proposed changes come after months of closed-door negotiations between the league and lawyers for thousands of retired players. The plan would remain secret until a federal judge reviews it, so it's not yet clear if players will be retested or simply rescored. About 70% of active players and more than 60% of living retirees are black. The Olympic flame arrived in Beijing amid calls for critics for a boycott of the Winter Games, which are set to be staged in February. The flame was received by Beijing's Communist Party Secretary Cao Qi. Beijing is the first city to be awarded hosting rights to both the Summer and Winter Games. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
It's going to be a warmer one heading into the afternoon. Highs will top in the mid-70s and lower 80s. Expect a lot of sunshine, but tomorrow we're going to see increasing clouds. Early temperatures will be in the upper 40s and lower 50s. By the afternoon, we'll warm into the upper 70s. A lot of areas in the lower 80s. We are going to see a cold front arrive by Friday.
In time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program this morning is David and Amanda Guy.
Good morning, Rutherford County. This is David Guy. I'm here today with my wife, Amanda. We are both middle school teachers, and today we're here to talk about raising children today. We're both middle school teachers and parents. We have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. And we're coming today to talk about, as Christian parents, the imperative that God has given us to raise godly children. And we see the struggles every day we're both public school teachers. We both see the struggles of children being raised in today's society, which has been even more magnified in the past 2 years. I want to start out by reading a scripture to you, Psalms 127, verse 3. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. As arrows are in the hand of a warrior, so are children of one's youth. Happy, blessed, and fortunate is the man whose quiver is filled with them. And as school teachers and as parents, we see that children, when we talk about a heritage, children are what represent you to the rest of the world. We see children come in, and we see children that come from broken homes and from homes that are not broken. We see children come in that have struggles. They have demons, really, that rage against them in their own lives. And as school teachers, we realize that there's some things that we see children that have discipline. And when I talk about discipline, I don't mean they're punished. I'm talking about children that are raised. We see children that are raised with respect, children that are raised to regard authority, and then we see children that are really left to their own devices. And we see some of that in our walks as teachers, but then as parents ourselves, we see, how when a child is raised in nurture and in care, how there's stability there. There's what's the word I'm looking for? Stability, empathy, really, that they can have towards other people, a love that they have in their hearts for God and for their fellow children around them. In Proverbs 22:6, it commands us as parents to train up a child in the way they should go. And in keeping with their individual gift, not all children are the same. They all have different gifts. They come from different places. And recognizing the gifts that God has given your child, raising them towards their gifts, teaching them godly principles and how to do things in the right way, teaching them respect and love for each other and taking them away from the devices of the world. We see so often that children have so many distractions, and they need examples in their lives of people that walk with God and people that care about other people. Do you have anything?
Yes, I just want to say that, children are a heritage from the Lord, and they are a precious gift from God. And as Christian parents, God has a lot to say about children and about how we should treat them. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and in keeping with his individual gift or bent. And when he's old, he will not depart from it. And a lot of parents miss this part about in keeping with their individual gift. As parents, we have two children. They're two very different children. Even though we raise them in the same home, they are not the same. And God wants us as parents to recognize that and to train them in their call and their gift. But in Deuteronomy 6, verse 5 through 7, it says, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your mind and heart, and with your entire being, and with all your might. And these words which I'm commanding you this day shall be first in your own minds and hearts. Then you shall whet and sharpen them, so as to make them penetrate, and teach and impress them diligently upon the minds and hearts of your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And God commands us as parents, first of all, we have to love God ourselves with all of our mind and heart. We cannot teach our children to love him if we don't love him. And so God commands us to put his love in our hearts first. And once we do that, when we love him first, then it says, then you teach them to your children. And I love how it says, you talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. It's not enough for us to take our children to Sunday school and to church on Sundays and Wednesdays anymore. I know that many of you know, as parents, you know that it is a dark world, and our children are being raised in the midst of it. And God wants us to teach them all the time in our houses, when we walk by the way, when we get up, when we lay down. God wants us to teach them to love Him and to love each other. And it's so important that we do, because otherwise they will depart from God. It says they won't depart from it when they're old if we train them up. But that's the key. We have to train them. Training means we work with them every day. We teach them every day how to love Jesus and how to love God. And that's very important and very special call on all of our lives and in all of our families.
And, you know, one thing that as school teachers we see it, and we see it in our own lives. Sometimes it's very easy, you know, if you've had, you know, a rough day at work, or you come home and the people that you love the most are the people that receive that frustration. And we see so many children that come to school and they're so anxious, and they respond to us out of the same way that they're being treated wherever they are. And it's not always parents. It can be, you know, coaches. It can be somebody in the grocery store. And they feel that oppression and that anxiousness. And in Ephesians 6, verse 4, it says, "Fathers, do not irritate and provoke your children to anger." Now, when I read this scripture, I've read this scripture since I was a young child myself, and I always saw it as, well, you know, dads, you shouldn't intentionally do things to make your children angry. But here we also have how we live our lives. You know, sometimes it's not that we stir our children up, but we disappoint our children. We do things that our children look at us and then they pass judgment because, well, dad didn't do what he was supposed to do, or mom didn't do this for me, and it's not that we're trying to provoke them to anger, but it stirs up anger in them because we don't meet the needs of our children. It goes on to say, "Do not exasperate them to resentment." And a lot of times we see in today's society works against parents. There's so many things that are out there in media, in things like TikTok and things like that stir up resentment against authority. And children need to know, it says, "Rear them tenderly in the training and discipline and the counsel and admonition of the Lord." It's not that we're a hammer there to you know, every time our child gets out of line, we're there to just, you know, nail it down. No, we're there to teach them. We're there to counsel them, to show them the right way to live through our actions. I have another scripture in Colossians 3:21. "Fathers, do not provoke or irritate or fret your children. Do not be hard on them or harass them." So often it's so easy when something displeases us to almost, whine is the wrong word, but instead of teaching people the right way to do things, the right way to speak, the right way to respond in a situation, we get angry and we fret people instead of stopping and having a conversation and teaching people the right way. It goes on, it says, "Lest they become discouraged and sullen and morose and feel inferior and frustrated. Do not break their spirit." And we see every day, we see children that have broken spirits. And you know, like we said, sometimes it's not the direct actions of a parent that are intentionally working against the child, but because of, you know, lack of consideration of the needs of those children. Sometimes children can be very demanding, and that's part of the counsel and the admonition is teaching them, you know, time and place. There's time and place for everything, and teaching them that. But so often at school, I find myself being a dad to children that don't have those influences at home. And as broader in society, we have to start taking the initiative as parents to parent, and sometimes to parent other children as well. And the phrase goes, it takes a village to raise a child. We can't think of ourselves as isolated little pods. We have to work together with each other to raise children and to raise people that will grow up, because eventually, my wife shared earlier about a heritage. Children are a heritage. They're what are going to go on and represent you in once you're gone. And there's not a lot of things you can leave on this earth that leave a heritage of who you are much better than your children.
And one thing I wanted to say and go back to is getting involved with your children.
Yes.
It's so important. And a lot of times as teachers, we see this all the time, especially because we teach middle school. A lot of parents believe that when they get children get a certain age, you need to back off, you need to pull away from them and let them grow up. And yes, we do teach them to be responsible. We do teach them to grow up and be Christians and to love Jesus and to be who they're supposed to be. But I just want to encourage all the parents out there, do not pull back from your children. That is the time to really stay with them and to get involved and to know what they're doing. There's so much that children are exposed to in this day and age, and so much that they see in a day, and they need to be able to trust their parents. They need to be able to talk to people and to tell somebody that they love and that they trust what they see, and to know the difference between what's right and wrong. And I think that a lot of times parents make that mistake because they think that they're supposed to. They think that they're supposed to let them grow up. And yes, they do need to grow up, but they need to grow up with guidance, and they need to understand all the things that they see, and especially the children that I see in the public school. I see a wide range of children who are well taken care of and who are loved and their parents are involved. And then I see children whose parents don't even see them most days because maybe they work at night and they're the only parent that they have. And they're doing the best that they can, but those children need someone to tell them the difference between what's right and what's wrong, and so that they know.
Going back to what you just said about being involved in your children's lives, so often we see as school teachers, we see children who were raised, and have expectations at home, but then parents let go of the leash in middle school, and there's a lot of things that can happen in middle school, especially in that age, the early teens age. There's so much, they're so impressionable. They need so much guidance. They're being exposed to so many new things. And we see the mistake of parents. They pull back. They trust their children with their grades. And in the past 2 years, we've seen that's not working. It's really not working. Children are unmoored. I used that word the other day. I was talking with some friends of mine, and I said there's so many people that are unmoored. They don't know the right way. They've been taught, but now in this new situation, in this new environment, they don't know the right way. They need somebody to nudge them in the right direction, to have those conversations of, hey, Mom, Dad, this happened at school today. What do I need to do? Like, so-and-so said this. What's right here? And oftentimes we'll get those conversations, but we know there's many more of those conversations that never happen. And as parents, we take time every day to talk with our children. How was school today? What happened today? Did is anything bothering you? Do you need anything? And just having just a few moments to talk without distractions, without, not in the middle of eating all the time. Sometimes that can be a distraction too, but just taking time to go over things, to, our daughters read their Bibles often. We read the Bible with them, but it's not forced counsel. They need guidance with those things.
Yes. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was how important it is that they do talk to us as parents. And one way that children stop talking to their parents is when they feel like their parents think that they're a burden, or that that they're being treated with harshness at home. And sometimes as parents, we don't know if we're being harsh. We just think, the day gets to us and we just need things to happen. We need them to go to bed. We need them to finish their homework and get the kitchen cleaned up. And as adults, a lot of times we just know all the responsibilities we have. And we have to be careful that we are gentle with our children, and that we're training. Okay, I keep saying that word, training. It's important. In Matthew 18, verse 5 and 6, it says, "Whoever receives and welcomes one little child like this for my sake and in my name receives and accepts and welcomes me." And God has a lot to say about children. And Jesus loved children, and he is our example. And God says, welcome those little children. And whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in and acknowledge and cleave to me to stumble and sin, that is, who entices him or hinders him in right conduct and thought, it will be better, more expedient and profitable, or advantageous for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be sunk into the depth of the sea. And God is very clear that as parents, as adults, that we do not cause a child to stumble and sin. It is our responsibility to raise them, just like David said, in tenderness, without harassing them. And sometimes that requires us as adults to take a step back and say, wait a minute, what do they need? What does we often are like, our days get busy. We get up at 5 a.m., we go to work, we're teachers, we're surrounded by children all day long, and we're counseling and taking care of those children too. And when we get home, it's very easy to get into the nightly routine. We've got homework, we've got dinner, we've got to get ready for the next day and lunches, and a lot of times God requires us to just stop that and make sure that we know what's going on with our children. What do they need? And we do read the Bible with them every night, because that is important. They need God's word in their heart. And even sometimes before we even get to it, they'll come and say, can I go read my Bible now? Mm-hmm. And that is a huge win for us. Mm-hmm. I mean, we love that. We love to see how much our children love Jesus. And it's so important today.
Yeah. A lot of times we see where there's a few scriptures in the Bible that people take and they run with it, that if you don't spank your children, then you're going to spoil them. And I'll read those scriptures now. The first one, Proverbs 13:24, says, "He who spares his rod of discipline hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines diligently and punishes him early." A lot of people take that scripture and think, well, you got to spank your children. When I see the word rod, a rod is what a shepherd uses to guide his sheep. Rarely does a shepherd strike his sheep with a rod. A rod is there, it's nurture, it's guidance, it's care. Yes, sometimes it takes a spanking, but most of the time, it's the conversation, it's the guidance, it's the teaching, it's discipline. Discipline doesn't always involve a physical act. It's the care. When we talk about, a lot of people, they'll talk about coaches. Coaches discipline their players, and rarely are they being physical about it. And go on in the other scripture. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left undisciplined brings his mother to shame. And so often, unfortunately, we see children that are left to their own devices with no guidance, no discipline in their lives, and they shame their parents. They talk to them disrespectfully. They threaten their parents in some cases. And that's not what God wants for families. God wants families for there to be structure and guidance and care. My wife keeps using the word training. You know, we don't go through life to have children and then just abandon them. That's not God's way. God's way is to teach them. And if you weren't trained, like the scripture earlier, get those scriptures in your heart first, those principles that God gives us, and whet and sharpen them, and then impart them to your own children. In Proverbs 3:12, it says, "For whom the Lord loves, he corrects, even as a father corrects the son in whom he delights." I have conversations with my children and with the children at school that really I regard as my children also. And I said, "You know I love you, right?" And it's not, "You know I love you, so I'm going to punish you." It's, "You know I love you, and I love you enough to show you what's right." And I have this conversation on a daily basis as a father and as a teacher. I have this conversation with my students. And as parents, we need to remember the reason that God gives us children is he trusts us with those children. It's not a burden, as my wife said. Sometimes it's a lot, but he trusts you with it. And that's the place that our hearts are as parents, is God's given us those children. He trusts us with those children, and he expects us to do a good job and to take the time and go through things with our children and go through hard times with our children and to teach them what's right in life. Last scripture that I have on this particular bent is Proverbs 1 verse 8. "My son, hear the instruction of your father. Reject not or forsake the teaching of your mother." Parents, we have to take time to teach our children. We have to take time to nurture them, to guide them in the right way, because they need it. In today's society, there's so many loud voices that are clamoring for those children's attention. And they need a guiding hand, someone to step in and say, "You know, son, that music that you listen to, those lyrics are not good. That TV show that you're watching, you know, that's not a good example." We put these things in front of our children, unfortunately, and we don't vet them ourselves. And these things are teaching children the morals that are being shown in these programs and this music. It's preaching a gospel to those children, and we need to step in, and we need to correct some of that. There's some wrong that's been imparted to them.
Yes, and one thing I want to say about that is, and I was telling my husband yesterday, I said, you know, the world is different than it was when we were growing up. My parents did guard me and my brother. His parents guarded him and his family. But in this day and age, it's so easy for children to be exposed to everything.
It's everywhere.
Everything.
Everywhere you turn.
When I was growing up, my mom could say, "Cover your eyes," and I would never know what it was. But these children live in a different day and age. They have everything in the palm of their little hands. My 7th graders have their cell phones, and there is nothing they can't find on that cell phone.
They're smart.
And I just want to encourage parents to be aware. Be aware of what your children are looking at. Be aware of what your children are doing. Because a lot of times, just like he said, parents are not looking. They're not vetting what's going on. And the fruit is there. The children are suffering. And then I just wanted to say these, or share a couple more scriptures. In Luke 18, verse 16, it says, "But Jesus called them," the parents, "to him, saying, 'Allow the little children to come to me, and do not hinder them, for such as these belongs the kingdom of God.'" And God says specifically to parents, allow the little children to come to me. And it's very important that you do bring them to Jesus. You bring them to the ministers of God, your pastors, the people that you trust that do know Jesus. Take them to them. Teach them to trust those people and to get involved with those people. In Matthew 18:10, "Beware that you do not despise or feel scornful toward or think little of one of these little ones. For I tell you that in heaven their angels are always in the presence of and look upon the face of my Father who is in heaven." God says he has special angels for our children, and those angels are standing in the presence of God every day. That tells you how important they are. It says don't despise them, don't think little of them. And a lot of times people do think, oh, get the kids out of the way so we can talk, we can have adult time. No, God wants us to be with them and be involved with them and to learn from them. I learn a lot from my children and how sweet they are and how much they love Jesus. And that changes my heart every day. And the other thing that I wanted to say is, parents, be kind to your children. Be kind to them. Be sweet to them. And just like it says, don't despise them. Okay? It's a very important call that we have on our lives as Christian parents to raise them, to love God and to love each other and to be kind to each other and to be ministers. Really, it's they've got to learn their gift and calling, and it's our duty as parents to help them do that.
So many times I've been moved to tears by my students and by my children because I see the gifts that have been imparted to them. Every year I cry at the end of the school year when my children leave because they're my children and I've put so much of myself into them. And then later on they reciprocate and they come back and they write us letters, and this year I got 3 cards from students I had last year and just saying thank you for being who you are. And it was so meaningful. And parents, your children will give back. If you put into them, they will give back to you. And we just want to finish out by saying, parents, there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of things that we know are right, but we need to do what's right. And we want to leave you today just saying, that children are a heritage from the Lord, and we want to pass on to them what God has given each of us. And we want to invite you. We're here we thank you for listening today. We're here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 a.m. until 9 a.m. Sorry.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356. From ABC News.